Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Buddy Fry, and let's queer up the USA View. Modern history record. As 900 plus anti-LGBTQ incidents happened in the last year. GLAAD has released a new report sounding the alarm on the growing threats faced by queer people in the United States. According to the data from GLAAD's Alert Desk, there were 932 anti-LGBTQ incidents reported in the past year. That's an average of nearly 2.5 incidents every single day. This is a record in modern American history. Even more disturbing, those incidents led to 84 injuries and 10 deaths. Trans and gender non-conforming people bore the brunt of the violence, making up 52% of all reported incidents. 485 out of 932. That marks a 14% increase compared to the previous year. These numbers are stark because surveys show that trans and non-binary make up 1 in every 50 LGBTQ community member, but are more than half of all reported incidents. Attacks on educators and public servants are also on the rise. GLAAD tracked 181 incidents involving elected officials and local government members, which shows a 57% jump. And educators, librarians, and school staff were targeted 270 times, which is, again, up by 10% from last year. However, there is a glimmer of hope. Attacks on drag performers and venues have dropped by 55%. Incidents targeting pride flags and symbols are also down by 25%. GLAAD President and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis didn't mince words, writing, quote, "This year, rollbacks in the LGBTQ visibility and challenges to our rights are coupled with a sharp rise in anti-LGBTQ rhetoric and disinformation across social media and political campaigns. The result is a divisive cultural climate that comes at a cost," end quote. She also mentioned that data from GLAAD's Alert Desk shows 90% of non-LGBTQ Americans believe that the LGBTQ community deserves to live free from violence and discrimination. For LGBTQ viewers, this report is a powerful reminder that we must stay informed, support one another, and continue demanding accountability because our safety and our lives are on the line. I really honestly don't think that this is much of a surprise considering the current political environment that we're in. The world is watching us and we're failing ourselves. But at the same time, I'm more surprised with the drop in drag queens and performance venues. And I don't know if that's the whole don't fuck with the drag queen attitude or if it's just because it's too public and there's too much media possibility there. I'm disappointed that allies like teachers and the people behind the scenes are getting attacked so much greater. And that's got me concerned because those people are more vulnerable because they don't have the support mechanism that the venues and the performers and Wilton Manors or the gay neighborhoods typically have. So it's interesting information. We've been saying here on this show countless times throughout the last year or two, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to be strong for each other. We have to take care of our families and our allies. And we just have to be smart and wise. Don't put yourself in a vulnerable position. Don't hide. Don't deny. Don't, be yourself. But use some common sense.
I mean, news like this is a reminder that we have to remain vigilant, as vigilant as possible, especially now during Pride Month.
Yes.
When we are gathering in large numbers.
Exactly.
I mean, be aware of your surroundings at all times. Look up from your phone once in a while when you're walking down the street and do everything in your power to remain safe from harm.
And identify those around you that are strong enough to help. Police, emergency people, shop owners. Look for those friendly faces.
At first when I was reading this, I was trying to think, I wonder what these were 10 years ago. Where was it 15 years ago? Because I thought, I bet it was so different. But then when I thought about it, it was like, but nobody was talking.
Right.
We've now empowered a generation of people to finally speak up and say something. And I think that's why we also see the rise, because more and more people are speaking up. things are happening.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have a president that embraces political violence, so it's no surprise that there's violence against our community when there are people out there preaching hate against the LGBTQ community. So I agree with everybody here on set is live your life out loud and proud, but live your life safe and vigilant, and look out for each other. I think that's the most important. I mean, you know, we sometimes live in our own bubbles, and you know, just whether you're walking down the street or passing somebody by, or you have a friend that you haven't heard from, check in on people. I think that's really important, and certainly do go that extra mile for our trans siblings, because they're really on the front line for all of the hate that's coming out. So,
And just one last point from my perspective, I know that there's going to be lots of alcohol and drinking during this month of the year. Please take care of your friends. Don't let anyone go home overserved, is the polite way to say it. You know, make sure people get home safely, not just because of common sense, but also you just want to make sure that we're all as safe as possible.
I mean, I have friends in Wilton Manors that are like, everybody's staying here. You're coming for Pride? Leave your car at home. You're going to stay here for the weekend. And it's kind of like, it's a great way. Just want it, you know you're safe.
community.
Yeah.
It's community. We need that.
Yeah. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.